Welcome back to Norrath. Today we're going to be taking a trip up into the mountains because we're going to go look at Highpass. Let's get started. So with Karana behind us here, we're going to be going over the river and up into the mountain pass here. So if we want to head along the road a little, actually let's not fly too much. I think we want to take this one on the ground a bit, as much as we can. So let's land here and actually start walking up the path. Now, one of the reasons I want to go up the path is because there are a number of things to see along the way, not just all of the half slabs and everything I put in, because I was getting kind of tired of having to jump every block. So now everything has been done up with half slabs and everything like that there. So up ahead we see the formal entrance to what would be the zone of Highpass. And you may recognize this as, of course, the Roman walls tutorial, I think from the fort. So this would be the gate, which will take us up into Highpass itself. Now, Highpass is a mountainous area. It straddles between the Quainosian Empire and the Freeport lands, because it is really the only safe land crossing between the two. Most of the rest of the traffic goes by sea, but if you want to go between Quainos and Freeport, there's only one real safe, well, you know, it's EverQuest. It's partially safe. I mean, it's a lot safer than going through the Ferrod or anywhere else, because the Serpent Spine Mountains divides continent Amtonica pretty much in two, and this is the only real road that you can get through the mountains. Now, I say mostly safe because this place is ruled over by one Duke Carson McCabe, and unfortunately, he does charge, you know, a bit of tribute to go through his lands. You'll get just a little bit of protection money. I mean, of course he does, because the Serpent Spine Mountains here are actually rather rich in resources. I mean, we see behind here we've got some deep slate copper ore, which has come up, of course, out of the mine shaft. Down here, I think I've shown these in a previous episode. But as far as the mines themselves, so we will take a look at this in spectator mode later on so I can show you. But there are quite a lot of mine shafts and everything around here to take a look at. Some are going to be bigger than others, but there are a number of buildings here. You may recognize these from, I think these are the medieval starter base buildings, of course. After we get the ore out of the ground, we might want to refine it a bit here in the blacksmith and everything before we send it on ahead. And of course we have some hardy, you know, miner houses up here as well. Not as not as built as the stuff is in Karana, because these are, of course, the hardy mountain folk up here. So, you know, they live a little bit rougher than the people down there in the plains anyway. But let's continue on. There's quite a few more little buildings and mines to look at. But I do want to enjoy the scenery a little bit as we go up the mountain road here. Highpass is always one of those interesting zones to pass through. So here we've got, looks like another refinery building, another house. I think a little bit of water here for the travelers. Another big pile of ore outside this here, which of course, as you can guess, is another mine entrance. So if we want to go through here just a little bit, we can see that it's pretty much the same design as the mine shaft we just took a look at, but this one is designed to be sunk back into the mountain entirely. It's not exactly an open pit mine, which is the one we looked at down there. This is more a traditional mine shaft in the side of the mountain. Of course, I assume they're built that way because they're just, the tunnels are following the veins of ore and everything to get it out of the ground. A lot of food is produced down there in the Karana Valley, but up here, a lot of Norrath metal would be extracted from here. Of course, the dwarves are major exporters of that too, but you always want to have some local sources, more under your own control. Dwarves are a continent away, so we've got to have some local mines and everything. Let's continue going up the path here. And there are going to be a number of ways we can go. We can go off this way here, but we want to go off, I think, this way over here first, because we see a number of other buildings over here. Another refinery, another house, another open pit mine. But back here, well, I want to go up here. We have what you might recognize as the medieval tavern tutorial. Yes, that's right. On the way through the road, we have various taverns here and there. Because, you know, we might be a weary traveler and we might want to take a bit of rest. And this here is the Golden Rooster Inn. It's actually an inn here in EverQuest in the Highpass zone itself. So I haven't actually decorated this. This is just a reference model from that, but this will eventually, you know, hopefully be done out with all the various details and everything. But there are a number of others as we go. Let me just get a bit of altitude here so you can see back down there. Of course, got the inn, another mine, and some houses around here too, as you might expect. Here's the road that we came up. And right here, we want to land again, get back on the road. And there's another miner's house. You know, I suppose this would have been a good time to actually tame a horse and get... There are several tamed horses in Norrath, but I don't remember where I left them. It's always every time, you know, the horse just wanders away, so I never know where it is. But that's fine. We'll just walk. It's not going to save that much time. I think let's go this way. Okay, so ahead we can of course see, you know what this is, another hoplite statue. And more walls dividing off everything. This is because this is taking us directly up to a High Keep, or High Holds Keep, or whatever you want to call it. It's got a couple of different names. But this is going to be the main attraction we want to take a look at today. We'll come back out into the mountain pass at the end here, because we do have more to see. But here, this is of course the entrance to High Keep itself. This is where you can see here we've got gates along the road here, and this is done to control the flow of trade, because, you know, like I said, Carson McCabe has to have his protection money. So if you're going to travel through here, you have to pay off the guards and everything so you can get through in one piece and all that stuff. So if we want to go through here into High Keep, pay no attention to the cobblestone in here. The gateway is not finished, but the interior here it's got some detailing done to it. So we can see here we've got one of the Roman towers and a very small version of what would be stables. These are going to get converted into stables, which, you know, would have been nice if I had a horse for that. But we don't have any place to put the horse here at the moment. But you can see here, this is just the very stripped down Roman stable stuff. And back here we have one of the, I think this is a barracks building from two of those here as well. Because this, as I said, is a keep, so it is a bit of a fortress. And we can see here what I've done with this is I've taken the Roman tower and I've just squished two smaller towers in on the side of it. Right here, and the rest of this is clipped straight into the mountain, which we will see fairly shortly. I get a little bit of altitude here. We can see here, you know, of course we have the gateway with the hoplite statue. Then we have a little courtyard, some stable buildings, barracks buildings, walls and everything. And then we can see of course the tower here and everything is clipped straight into the mountain right here with a nice beacon to illuminate it as well. You can see here we're pretty close to the height limit because that's where it stops. But as I said, this... oh, hang on. Almost fell in the fountain. But if we want to go inside a bit, I want to show you the interior of this place. Now this is the standard interior of the tower itself, but out back here, I haven't done the archway here yet. But we can see here it transitions to some nice materials and everything. A lot of these designs you're going to recognize from previous tutorials. You know, it's because they're good designs. So a lot of this was recycled for these purposes here. It's of course why I made the original designs themselves. But if we want to go in here, we of course see the main hall of High Keep itself. Of course, we've got some good Roman rib vaulting up here as well, and some sturdy piers and arches and everything to support the weight of the ginormous mountain above. It's like so. I think I want to do some more detailing on the walls here. Maybe do a cross-hatching pattern on that. Of course, add some more detailing and everything here in the floors and whatnot. But we do see here that we do have a number of corridors right here that are radiating off from this. So let's go through a couple of these just to give you an idea what how the space is laid out. So over here we do see a doorway. A little barrel vaulted space over there. Most of this stuff is going to... Oh dear, floating torch. Most of this stuff is going to be from, I think, the Roman Catacombs tutorial. Except, as you can see, I've just made the materials a bit nicer. It's like, oh, another torch there, another room there, and so on and so forth. You can see here, we've got the arches and the vaulting for the corridors, and for the larger areas branching off from the main area. But I think for the rest of this, it's going to take entirely too long to walk through all of the corridors and make the video like an hour long for me to get through these. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dip into spectator mode. I'm going to show you these from the outside because High Holds does have a number of levels. We have levels below us down there, and we have levels above us, quite a few above us right there. Alright, spectator mode. So let's go back to the main... Oh, I got turned around. Or did I? Yes. Okay. So here's where we came in, and here is the main area. But if we go just up through... just back through the wall here, we can see that here's the corridor we walked down, one of the rooms we walked through here. You can see that continues and it branches off here into a number of rooms and ends with this little room down here. And you can see the rooms are various shapes and sizes. They're just not just all one type of room, like so. But if we go back to the main entrance here, right there, we can see, of course, we have a number of larger branching off rooms over here. And then back here as well. But if we go over this way, through here, we can see that we have a staircase. So if we go up through the staircase, don't mind some of the walls haven't quite been finished yet. Right here, but we can see that when we go up to the upper levels here, the materials on the walls and everything changes just a little bit. I wanted to give each level its own kind of color. So the first level down there was the red nether brick, but up here we have the cut copper, the waxed cut copper, right here. And I know this is going to be, we're viewing this from the outside, so it's going to be a little hard to keep track. But we have our stairwell here, and then another stairwell that goes up to this level here, which, as you can see, it's done with dark prismarine. And then we keep going up the stairs here, we get to the next level, which is a very nice lapis color. And the columns are also made out of diamond blocks. So it's very, very expensive detailing. It gets more expensive the higher we go up in the structure. I think that's actually the highest level in this, because we, you know, with the mountain peak is, you know, right here. So that was as high up as we could go. So I made the nice expensive stuff up here, because these would be the rooms and chambers that Carson McCabe and his wife and their retinue and whatever, and all the valuables and stuff would be stored up here. At least they will be eventually. So far, all I've done is I put in the rooms just as bare rooms, but they need to be decorated out and filled with everything, because one of the things is going to be in one of these levels, probably in the Dark Prismarine level, is Cars McCabe actually operates a casino up here too. So he definitely runs runs all of the rackets up here to squeeze out as much money of the travelers as he can. Another pillared area here. This is just a this is actually the I think the cistern design from the Catacombs tutorial, except I've taken out the water down here and just filled that in with the floor. Now, but you can see here all of these main rooms, they have they branch off into different corridors. Just here and there, just as much as I could possibly fit in to the space here. But you can see we have distinct levels. Of course, we have the lapis level here, and then the dark prismarine level below that. And then below that, oh, whoops, we clicked outside the mountain. Below that, over here, we have the waxed cut copper level here, with all manner of rooms associated with it. And over here we're going to have a little secret passage that I'm going to work in that is going to go all the way over here to the giant reservoir that actually feeds the that's on the other end of the aqueduct here. You know, this goes down to Quanos over there, but of course I had to have a reasonable explanation for that aqueduct to be there, so, you know, it's been a while since we looked at this. This is just one of the Quinosian wall things, and we walled off a portion of the mountains here to use as a reservoir to collect all the meltwater flowing off from that, and the cool mountain water makes its way down to Quanos. Right back there, but if we click back in, we can of course see that that all the rooms and corridors, I made as much space, or as much use of the space as I possibly could down here for that. But below the red nether brick level that we entered in, of course, there is another level back down here. This is more of a storage level. It's we're doing this with the old texture of the nether quartz. Oops, looks like I missed a bit of that wool there. I used the green wool as a placeholder material so I could do all the corridors and everything. So looks like I missed one though. Go back and fix that. But if we go down still farther, we can of course see we've got the stairwell here, and then that turns and goes down deeper yet still, and that goes down into what are these? I think these are deep slate bricks. I think it's been a while since I looked at that. But yeah, the materials get progressively rougher and more cheaper as we go down in levels. These would be like the storage levels, really. It's really the basement of High Keep itself. And of course, below that, there is actually a passage down here that connects to mine shafts, because as you can see, it's a really big rat's nest down here of mines, and that's because these are the goblin mines below High Holds Keep. Now in EverQuest, these were very basic mines, but you know, since we can do whatever we want to in Minecraft, I kicked it up a couple of notches. We have several levels of mine shafts. Right here we have like 3 main shafts here, and they all branch off into their own associated mines. Right here, so you can see we've got what 1, 2, at least 3 very deep, very sort of rambly type of mine shafts, because you can see while they do go in straight lines, they don't really follow any sort of pattern. They just kind of go off in whatever direction that they want to go in. These mine shafts are really designed to get you extremely lost, as of course you would expect a goblin mine to do. You know, because the goblins they don't make much sense of how they do their mine shafts. Actually, the goblins would have taken over pre-existing mine shafts. But yeah, as you get deeper and deeper down, I think the guards will still patrol the upper level of the mines. But as you get deeper down, nobody really goes down there, and they're pretty much abandoned. All the ore has been mostly stripped out, and they're just infested with goblins. And these mines are actually connected to something we're going to take a look at later, which I'll show you just very briefly off this way, because as we can see over here, the architecture changes a little bit into a Minoan type design. Over here, that's because this actually connects into Runii Citadel. But that is for a future video. I don't want to spoil all that just yet. That's going to be whenever we make our way over to the Gorge of King's Orb and take a look at all the Centaur stuff over there. But that's going to be in one of the next episodes, I think. But while we're down here, we can see more of the mines in Highpass. The mine below Highhold's Keep here is the biggest mine. And we can see above there all the very nice structures that have been built underneath the mountain peak. It's a bit dwarven in that respect, but, you know, of course it's done in a nice Roman style. And just about all this has been put out as tutorials and everything, so if you want to copy any of this, you know, in your own world, you, of course, already have the tools you need to do that, except for this mine stuff here. I don't think there's not going to be a tutorial on this mine stuff, because I don't think you really need it. Because as we take a look at in here, you know, one section of this mine, you know how I like to do modular stuff, it's just 3x3. Well, well, including the wood, it's really a 5x5. Is it 5x1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Well, it's really like a 5x6 tall if you include the floor. But all these little mine shafts, they look the same. They just kind of, you know, they ramble off here. They go up and down just a little bit. Here and there. They branch off into, you know, just as many little side chambers as you want to. They don't have to be very regular. In fact, you want to make them more irregular. That's one of the reasons that there's not really a tutorial on these, because they're just very little modules that you can you know, just dig out and then build a bit more of the module, and then dig out in different direction and build a bit more. You know, you can see how it's laid out here. Here is a smaller little mine in more of isolation. Back down here, so you can get a good feel for how those are done. And as you can see here, this is one of these little mines. It's a played out mine, so it's kind of abandoned, slightly hidden down here. But if we look over in this direction down here, further south, we can see that Highpass, as I said, has a very lot of mine shafts. Now, I tried to make them as different from each other as I could, but of course we're still just copying and pasting and using the same general sorts of parts for the mines that we have previously. Some of these are going to be open pit mines, but others, most of them here, are going to be mines that open out into little shafts. Like if we go back down here, this is the first little mine we took a look at when we started the video. Back down here, we can see the open pit is just attached to the surface. And I think here is the second mine shaft we took a look at. Right there, we can see the entrance from the side of the mountain. But once you get down into the shaft itself, it goes off into all sorts of different directions. And if we come back here to the castle itself and dip out of spectator mode and then get a bit of altitude, we can see more how Highpass is put together. In fact, I'm going to need quite a bit of altitude. Alright, so down there is where we started. Right there at that gateway. Then we went up this road here. We took a look at the inn over there. And then we walked all the way over here to the main entrance of High Keep. And then we took a look at High Keep. As you can see here, it's dug into the mountains. It goes all the way, pretty much from the top there, all the way down, including the goblin mines, to pretty much as deep down close to bedrock as we can get. But there are other buildings if you want to go this way here, following the cursor. You can see how the road twists around Highpass. You don't have to go directly through High Keep. You can try to go in some different directions right here. But if we land a bit. Of course, we can see what you would expect. We've got more mining houses back here. Some of them have signs. The Tiger's Roar. That's going to be, I think, a shop. That's what that's going to be. For you to stop and buy supplies. Of course, we've got another open pit mine here. Another little house there. Another little refinery building here. A well. Another house back there. And mine entrances here, and there as well. But if we come back this way and go down here, we have the road. There's going to be another mine entrance back over there that we saw. But here we come to the gate on the other side of Highpass, marking the boundary of Highpass pretty much. And this here takes you the road down the mountain, and then over the river there, and then that tower there marks the beginning of the Freeport Commonwealth over down there. But as I said, there is a more dangerous road. If you're very adventurous, you can take down the river here. But this is goes into the territory of the Mucktail Knolls, actually down here, especially down in this little area here with all the little river channels and all the little islands and everything there. And we can see down here an unfortunate group of miners actually tried to push in to the territory of the Mucktail Knolls, and you can, and oh my. Well, I mean, I think you can see from the damage here to the houses, you can kind of guess what happened to these miners, can't you? So, you know, so they boarded up the mine and hightailed it out of here and left this area abandoned. So we've got a little abandoned mining settlement for you to check out down here whenever we do the next download. And down over here, we're just going to take a quick look over in that direction. I don't want to spoil it too much. That's going to be in a future episode, where we take a look at some of the Centaur lands and everything to the south. But for today, I just wanted to give you a good introduction to Highpass. It's in EverQuest. I spent a lot of time in High Keep, actually farming the guards, actually, because they would drop quite a bit of money when you kill them. You know, it's not that, well, I mean, these aren't particularly noble guards. I mean, they run a gambling establishment anyway, so you know, they were kind of asking for it, but anyway, be that as it may, that is an overview of everything I have done in Highpass here. Maybe it gives you some ideas of things you can implement into your worlds, and I do hope you have enjoyed the tour today, so I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.